If you woke up in the middle of a massive cornfield and had to solve a series of puzzles to maybe find your way out, what would you do? Left with only the clothes on their backs and a single seemingly random tool each, our 6 maze runners will have to work together if they want any chance of making it out alive. Easier said than done when they're constantly finding excuses to remain at each other's throats. One thing's for sure, whatever they do, it had better be quick because food and water are extremely limited, and they're not the only ones out here. I'm gonna break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the endless corn in Escape the Field. Sam is in a cornfield, and she has absolutely no idea how or why that is. However, this isn't your typical post-bender teleportation. It seems someone, or something, brought her here, and now it's up to her to get herself out. Well, better get to it. First order of business, figuring out where that spider went. Last thing we need is that sucker crawling inside her ear and whispering FUD at critical junctures to lower our morale. Fortunately, we have an old Smith & Wesson Model 10 in case he won't go quietly. Only came with 1 shot though, so I guess this means we'll be making a difficult decision at some point down the road. Although, it looks like that might be sooner rather than later.
Stay away from me!
Jesus
Stay
Christ.
back!
Okay, man.
Yeah, I don't know about this guy. We've covered 2 other movies he's been in so far, and in both cases, he was a huge piece of crap. Not to mention the way he's holding his hands below his shoulders in the universal sign of, I'm about to try something. This potential snake in the grass is Tyler, and like Sam, he also just woke up without any clue as to what brought him here. Or so he says. Can't say I blame her for not immediately taking him at his word. After all, unless this cornfield's the size of a kiddie pool, what are the odds he just happened to stumble upon us? And even if he spawned in nearby, Sam wasn't exactly making much noise, so I guess we're just supposed to believe he randomly chose to start walking in our direction.
For Christ's sakes, if I did this, why would I give you a gun?
Hey, we don't know if you're not an imbecile. Maybe you dropped it after dragging us out here, and now you've come back to get it. Besides, how do you know we were given a gun and didn't pack it from home? Well, about that. Apparently, he was stripped of everything but a parting gift he found lying next to him upon waking up. So it stands to reason she got the same treatment, which she did. Although, man, talk about getting screwed on that one. He gets a tube of waterproof matches, and she gets a friggin' revolver. Who'd he piss off on the way out here? Ultimately, he's not looking for much. He just wants to go wandering aimlessly through the corn and invites Sam to join him if she so chooses. Normally, I'd say this is a terrible idea, since blindly trailblazing into the unknown could take you even farther away from civilization and leave you exhausted in the process. But this isn't a typical survival situation. Someone brought us here on purpose, and I'd rather not stick around for when they come back through in a combine. Plus, it's just a field, so unless we were taken into the corn dimension, we're going to find the boundaries eventually.
I'm gonna stay here and wait for help.
Oh, okay, princess. What a bunch of coddled garbage. Even though I have 0 means of communicating with the outside world and no one but my kidnappers actually knows I'm here, certainly someone will be coming to save me. It's Finny all over again. Or at least it would be, had she not dramatically changed her mind at the last second. If you want to write and film your own movie where characters aren't bumbling fools, you need to check out this video sponsor, Skillshare's courses on creative storytelling and film and video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes taught by real-life pros, ranging in skill level from veteran, for people such as myself, all the way down to lowly noobs, such as yourselves. It's ad-free with new premium classes launched each week. I genuinely do want to get into making my own short action films, and Skillshare's creative storytelling course contains helpful, personalized, recommended learning paths in classes like Storytelling 101, Character, Conflict, Context, and Craft. The 4 C's, which make up the fundamental story structure of which I can layer on all the demented ideas surfacing from my subconscious. Writing character-driven short stories. What I got from this is that the human mind is geared towards learning how other human minds work and solve problems. Mere situations, sets, and circumstances aren't enough to make an audience care. To actually bring the script to life, I checked out the Skillshare course, Learn Filmmaking from Beginner to Pro. What I got from this is that filmmaking is not just getting a beautiful, clean shot. shot, but using compositions, angles, lighting, distance, and so much more to actually tell the story visually. Those are just my goals and learning paths, but there are so many more skills to learn you need to check out. Click my link in the description, and the first 1,000 to use this Skillshare link will get a 30-day free trial. As skeptical as I am about Tyler's story, he's not asking us to trust him implicitly, and him volunteering to walk in front of a visibly armed stranger is as reassuring as it is foolish. Fact is, we have no idea who or how many attackers we're dealing with here, so having an extra pair of hands could make all the difference, especially since we only have a single round of 38 special to play with. Speaking of which, it's imperative we know our pieces in working order. When Tyler isn't looking, I'd quickly remove the cartridge and shake it beside my ear to make sure it actually has a powder charge. If not, then we'd better be prepared to run away or go for the pistol whip if things get crazy. Also, couldn't hurt to block up the empty cylinders with something easily removable, like corn husks, so it's not immediately obvious to those downrange we're only packing one round. Getting back to our new best friend, we'll want to keep him far enough ahead he can't readily turn around and swat our gun away, but close enough that he can't easily vanish into the corn and stage an ambush. About 6 or 7 feet ought to do it, but anytime he turns around, he'll be getting a face full of steel. All that aside, he doesn't necessarily have to have ulterior motives to get us killed.
Hello?
Really? Are you crazy?
Anybody there?
Hey, over there, come right into our kill zone. What, you never used Proc's chat before? Seriously though, you were dragged and dropped into a cornfield against your will. For all you know, you're being hunted for sport by a bunch of rich psychopaths, most dangerous game style. Sure, I get other people might have more information and or supplies we could use to get out of this mess, but we shouldn't go blindly walking up to anyone without spying on them for a bit, or at the very least, listening in on their conversation. Fortunately for our heroes, they aren't immediately shot dead upon waltzing into the open. Instead, they meet 3 fellow prisoners, Ryan, Denise, and Ethan. The 3 of them woke up with a lantern, a knife, and compass respectively, the last of which they've been following northbound some 3 kilometers in hopes they eventually reach open ground. Quick note on that, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but it's worth acknowledging that whoever's responsible for this probably isn't going to let us simply walk out of here. Think about it, they captured all 5 of us and brought us here without so much as a single one seeing anything in the process. These aren't your ordinary Ethan Hawks we're dealing with here, and it stands to reason they're keeping an eye on us to make sure all their hard work doesn't go to waste. Not only that, but the fact that they're letting us walk around unrestrained indicates they're pretty confident in their ability to keep us penned up, so we should probably keep an eye out for traps and get ready for a fight, especially if we see what looks like an exit. As for the items they gave us,
my guess, it's got something to do with this. It's a symbol. It's on all of our items.
Yep, that's a symbol, alright. I'd say it's as sure a sign as any we're all in the same boat, as if that were even a question at this point. Furthermore, each of us having something different suggests we're supposed to work together in some way. Well, either that, or brutally Tarkov one another to extract with as many things as possible. In any case, we should accept Ryan's offer to join their group. However, before we proceed, we should try and get a look over the top of the corn to see if we can spot, well, anything. I mean, come on, you 3 have been walking together for over half an hour, and at no point did anyone think to climb on top of someone's shoulders to see what's out there. Assuming we're on flat ground, which would be ideal for growing corn, if we could boost someone's line of sight to around 3 meters, we'd have visibility out to over 6 kilometers in every direction. I mean, I'm not gonna do it in case someone's watching with a rifle, but I'm sure we can convince someone else in the group to stick their neck out. Having joined forces, the gang continues bushwhacking through the field until a distant tornado siren stops them dead in their tracks. Awesome. Hopefully it means pretty much anything other than what it sounds like. Oh well, no point in worrying about that, because it looks like we found a scarecrow. And that's not all.
Where am I? Shivax! What the hell is that?
Seriously? Only the single most normal thing about this place? Although, I guess it is kinda creepy. What's abnormal, at least according to Ryan, is the fact that the newcomer is the only one without an item, something he finds suspicious. It's a good thing Tyler was there, or she might have joined Mr. Scarecrow. I get it makes her the odd one out, but given we're only dealing with a sample size of 6 here, who knows whether that's to be expected. Besides, as panic-stricken as she was, who's to say she didn't get up and start running without even looking around? Might be worth it to have her lead lead us back to her spawn point in case she was given a machete or frag grenades. The Brit here is Cameron, and as is tradition, she doesn't remember Jack. Whatever, welcome to the club. The real question here is why everyone just walks off without stopping to strip search the Scarecrow. I mean, for Christ's sake, one of us isn't even wearing pants, and with our grossly limited resources, even something as simple as the pole he's held up with could be a valuable asset. At the very least, we should mark him with a knife in case we lose the compass or otherwise get turned around. And it doesn't stop there. A few minutes later, they come to a wooden fence line in the middle of the field, and everyone just blows right by it like it's a total inconvenience instead of a potentially invaluable resource. Not only could we use some of the handier sized planks as weapons in a pinch, it provides us a direct line of sight through the corn in 2 directions. Screw the compass bearing. The direction we picked was totally arbitrary in the first place. Let's walk along the fence line, so at least we don't have to worry about constantly beating our way through insect-ridden corn stalks, which can't be helping the exhaustion at this point. I'm honestly surprised they bothered to pull some firewood off of it instead of just sitting around Tyler as he burned through his matches one at a time. Of course, the problem with a campfire is that it makes you easier to find.
Oh my God.
What? There's something in the field.
Come with us. We'll find a way out.
There is no way out.
Yeah, you all saw the gillied up monster with piercing red eyes drag that dude off to certain death, right? Apparently not, because almost immediately, Ryan and Tyler go running in after him. I mean, it's not like it's virtually invisible. It has the strength to drag a grown man off at breakneck speed. Just let him go. You guys aren't even armed, and there's no telling how many of those things might be out there. What's most important is that we're safe, and what we can learn from his brutal death. Before he got, dude counted us off and remarked how it's the same, meaning we aren't the first group of 6 he's seen out here. Also, in addition to the exact same lantern and revolvers we have, he was wearing a metal flask on his belt, which is an item we haven't seen so far. In fact, it could be a sign Cameron's holding out on us. Finally, right before he showed up, we heard that siren again. Could be that it sounds when players are approaching one another, but we didn't hear it when we met up with Ryan and company, so maybe it goes off whenever the creeper's nearby. We'll probably need more data for that one. Speaking of that freak show that attacked him, we all saw it vanish back into the corn, so why in the hell would anyone think that leaving the open area to sprint blindly into the field would be any safer?
We need to get the out of here.
Honestly, it's a miracle they only ran into each other. Although, I guess a stake through the abdomen isn't all that much better than being hauled off to oblivion by a living salad. Chick's toast. Oh well, at least for now we get to see Sam's special doctor powers in action. Of course, without any equipment, the best we can do for her is attempt to shorten the steak as much as possible with a knife and bandage around it with excess clothing to help control bleeding and keep it in place. From there, we'll just have to light one up for the patron saint of maze runners and pray we can get her to a hospital within the next few hours, because barring serious medical intervention, she's not gonna last long. I mean, sure, you could try pulling it out, you know, if you want her to die.
I need you to trust me.
Huh, maybe she worked in the morgue. From what I can find online, the only reason you'd remove an impaling object in the field would be if it was obstructing the airway and or preventing CPR. And given she was just talking, and now screaming, I don't think either of those conditions apply. Uncorking her like that is just gonna exacerbate blood loss and make the wound even worse, along with leaving a trail of jagged splinters through her insides. Better to just leave it in place and hope we can make it out before the peritonitis sets in. Let's be real about this. That's probably not gonna happen. By morning, the big concern on everyone's mind is the lack of water. In the short term, I'd recommend licking the dew off leaves, or even trying to squeeze it from the corn stalks. You could even get some degree of hydration by eating the corn itself, although, as we find out later, it's pretty much all completely rotten. Then again, they only opened up like 2 ears from right next to each other. For people stranded out in the middle of nowhere, they sure seem reluctant to make full use of what few resources are all around them. Another thing that they're failing to take advantage of is one another. Although, I'm sure part of that's because no one has any idea what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. Hell, it's already been a day since they linked up, and only just now does anyone even think to mention their own background.
I've run data collation and analysis for the Pentagon that only comes from this type of activity.
What? You work for the Pentagon?
And you're just bringing this up now. One of the first things we should have done as a group was go around and share the basics of who we are. Not only could this shed some light on why we might have been taken, but it would also allow us to gain a sense of who's capable of what. It's not even a show don't tell issue. Any reasonable group of people would want to figure this out right off the bat, as it would greatly facilitate resource allocation and group decision making. For example, in a survival situation, it's generally advisable to appoint a leader, which would have been a no-brainer had we found out Ryan was a squad leader in the military. This way we also could have learned that Sam was really a butcher before we had her treating someone's traumatic injuries. God damn. People. This could also help shed some light on what exactly we're supposed to be doing. The fact that they rounded up 2 professional geeks and a student in the form of Denise, Cameron, and Ethan suggests we're supposed to think our way out of this. And the fact that we have a soldier and a criminally negligent doctor means there's probably going to be a lot of danger along the way. No one even thinks to ask Tyler what he does for a living, but given the way Denise was hiding her extremely relevant experience from the rest of the group, dude probably designs death games for a living. On the subject of holding out, it seems Denise wasn't the only one, as Ryan soon discovers during a bathroom break.
Mother.
Well, looks like he called it. Goes without saying that hiding valuable resources from your commissarates in a crisis isn't gonna win you any popularity contests, especially after they saved your life and kept movement to a crawl so you wouldn't be left behind. Sure, at only half full, it would hardly keep the group hydrated, but even in sips, that much water isn't gonna keep you going all that long either. Better to be forthcoming with something like that and buy yourself the brownie points. After all, right now the last thing you want to do is isolate yourself, like poor Denise here.
Sam?
And so the green meanie strikes again. Great going, Doc. Weren't you supposed to be watching her back? Least you could have done is told her you were going to check on Cameron and gave her the option to tag along. Given what we saw last night, even being only slightly apart from the others is enough to get yourself got. So we really should have put decency aside for the sake of survival and dropped Trow next to the group. Also worth pointing out is the fact that this is the second time the monster showed up after we heard the siren. So next time it goes off, we should immediately circle the wagons, just to be on the safe side. Naturally, by the time everyone fights their way to Denise's last known location, she's nothing but a bloody stain on a field jacket. Cue Sam wanting to put everyone's lives at risk, going after someone who's clearly already dead to make up for her own failures. Take a look around. He could have dragged her off in a near infinite number of directions, and the fact that we can no longer hear her screaming means she's probably already halfway to roasting on a spit. Let's just call this a lesson and try not to repeat her mistakes in the near future, which we already know you're gonna do.
We can't just leave. We can't.
I'm sorry. We're better off sticking together.
I'm not so sure about that.
Oh, spare me your hyper-compassionate bullshit right now. You're no better than Scott Ward's idiot daughter from Army of the Dead. Let's just pause the whole mission and throw her lives away chasing a corpse. God, I hope you're next. But let's be real. Chick's a classic case of protagonist personality disorder if I've ever seen one. Fortunately for those of us left alive, our ship's about to come in. It turns out Ethan's compass wasn't pointing north, or in any fixed direction for that matter. Apparently the whole point was to lead us to a water spigot, and the compass itself serves as a handle. This gives Sam an idea. What if the items themselves are clues as to where we're supposed to go? She then calls out the tree printed on the flask, claiming it resembles the tree she saw earlier. Wait, you saw a tree and didn't think to tell anyone? What the heck is wrong with you? Given we've been surrounded by nothing but corn for 24 hours, seeing a tree is a massive development, even if it's only just a way for us to climb up for a better look at our surroundings. I swear, no one actually wants to get out of here alive. Case in point, they walk by yet another scarecrow without bothering to dismantle it. Something's different about this one, although I can't quite put my finger on it. Wow, gotta get me one of those. Why scarecrows when you can just inject them with melted gumdrops? For real though, let me guess, you're not gonna tell anyone about this, huh? The thing waited to strike until you were all alone with your back turned. That means it was actively watching you and waiting for the best opportunity. This is something everyone needs to know about, and reason number 9,000 why you should be tearing these things apart every time you see them. I mean, if it can shoot darts, who knows what other useful items it has rattling around in there. Not to mention the fact that whatever's in that thing could cause you to drop dead or start wigging out, which the others definitely need to know about if they're supposed to rely on you. Even once he starts feeling loopy, it still doesn't occur to him that he should bring this up. Although after the entire group watches him one-hand Dr. Sam out of danger like she was a lunchbox, they should probably realize something's up. Now, tell me, if you saw someone perform a virtually impossible feat of human strength right in front of you while also acting somewhat unhinged, would you openly antagonize this person? Because apparently, that's what Cameron thinks she ought to do.
Who put you in charge? We need to turn back and go south. Surely you can't be this fucking stupid.
What's that? Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding your accent. Are you saying, put me down? Because I'd be happy to oblige. For real, dude, next time drop her. Let the punji pit finish what Sam's abhorrent medical malpractice started. As annoying as she might be, re-impaling her in front of the entire group would definitely paint a target on your back. Although, given his newfound superpowers, he'd probably give the creature a run for his money. Speaking of which, everyone saw Ryan's eyes glowing bright red, right? You know, just like the thing that's going around grabbing people. This can only mean one thing. They're injecting people with Las Plagas from Resident Evil 4. We saw the same thing with Leon when he started to turn. I hate to say it, dude, but it's starting to look like the purpose of Sam Smith and Wesson is for telling someone about the rabbits once they catch the ugly. Sure, his immense strength could be an asset, but there's no telling when he might tear someone in half like a phone book just for looking at him funny. Fortunately, it seems he still has the clarity to recognize his own behavior.
I was injected with whatever's in that. Just keep an eye on me, all right? Something it's different.
Now he tells us. By the way, you completely failed to mention where that dart actually came from. Might be useful information considering those human effigies are all over the place out here. Props to him for sharing with someone. But after that outburst, this is something everyone needs to hear. I mean, I get the need to keep up morale, but at this point, speculation will be running wild. And we all know Sam isn't gonna say anything. Getting back to the palisade trap for a second. Anyone from the management to our fellow players to even the creeper could have dug it. Whatever the case, we should keep an eye out for more and stick to established paths as much as possible for better visibility. They'll have to cover them with something, so any piles of leaves or corn husks should be treated as potential traps. Also, couldn't hurt to cut down a few corn stalks and use them like walking sticks to probe the ground ahead. Sometime later that night, the group finally makes it to the tree, and right away the decision pays off. Underneath the bark, they find a map etched into the trunk, and with a lantern oriented properly on a nearby fence post, they're shown a clearly marked path towards something. Well, that's good enough for me. Still, we shouldn't get our hopes up too much. There's nothing about this crudely drawn map that suggests we're going to an exit. If anything, it's probably just another puzzle we'll need to solve with our Monopoly pieces. As for now, we should make camp beside the tree and set out first thing in the morning. This way, we can climb up to get a sense of what lies ahead. Well, that, and we have a corn demon stalking us from the shadows. Oh, sure, just stand with your back right up against the corn. Have you completely forgotten about what happened to Denise and the rando? That said, we didn't have the benefit of the air raid siren to remind us we were in danger this time, so either the horn guy fell asleep at the wheel, or it has nothing to do with the attacker's movements at all. Who knows? Maybe the Red Baron zipping around up there. Whatever the case, it's a good thing Super Ryan was there to lay a smackdown on the beast before Tyler was too far gone. But he's not exactly the picture of good health. Plus, now he has to endure Sam's bass-ackwards medical training, making it all worse. Diagnosis: the stab wounds are all in your head. Try lying down and eating more hazelnuts. Meanwhile, it looks like Cameron's gone full Velma while running away from the closest thing to safety she could possibly find out here. Seriously, the tree was the one place you know the freak show wasn't. You're just making yourself an easy target. Oh well, thank God the blind girl has a dangerous weapon she can swing around recklessly. Can't see that going wrong. Oh no, it totally went wrong. But at least she has the sense to not immediately wrench the blade from his still beating heart. Unlike some people out here, serves him right for going in after her in the first place. The tree is life. Stay at the tree. Climb up into the branches if you need to, but for Christ's sake, don't just go running aimlessly into the darkness. Which, by the way, is exactly what Ryan's doing right now. Good luck killing this thing when you have no weapons, no flashlight, and no idea where it could possibly be. If you you want it dead so bad, you should dig a few dead drop traps like the one back on the trail and lure it in with one of your dead or injured teammates. I'm looking at you, Ethan. Going full Martin Sheen and duking it out in the bush is as dumb as it gets, especially now that you know he's got a knife. With everyone all spread out, Sam decides this is the perfect opportunity to buddy carry her grievously injured teammate into the night. No point in trying to regroup back at the tree or wait for sunrise or anything. After all, it's not like we're a slow-rolling double kill right now. By some miraculous plot convenience, they actually make it to morning, arriving at the specified location to find yet another scarecrow. Only this time, someone finally thinks to take it apart, or at least undress it anyway. Turns out the map from the tree was printed on each of their shirts, and that's not all that's got going on. That looks important. Man, if only we'd thought to try something like that before. Then again, it stands to reason this one might be special given its prominence on the map. And that certainly seems to be the case. After entering the combination off an attached card, a hidden path suddenly photoshops itself into the corn. At the same time, we get treated to the familiar wailing of the air raid siren. Only this time, it seems we're standing right by the source. So does that mean we're the fourth team to make it this far? If that's the case, let's hope whoever's up ahead is doing a Paragon playthrough. Eventually, Tyler and Sam come to a raised tunnel in the corn that seems to form some kind of maze. Wait, hold on a second. Did it seriously take you guys all day to get here? Jesus, I know the going must be slow with Tyler limping along like that, but that is a long time spent walking away from your teammates. Like it or not, we're almost certainly gonna need their items to progress at some point, especially given we had to sacrifice the compass to power up the scarecrow. We haven't used the knife for literally anything at this point. Well, anything besides what it's normally used for, I mean. Fact is, this is why we should have waited for the others after our last run-in with the Lurkatron. Now, we might very well be a full day's walk away from them without any idea if they're even still alive. As much as I hate to say it, time to think about ditching the dead weight and going back to look for them. Will it be extremely dangerous? Absolutely. But we shouldn't have put ourselves in this position in the first place. Awesome. Well, looks like we're in it now. The good news is, there's a surefire way to beat this one using the left-hand method. And no, I don't mean the one from my Alice in Borderland video. Besides, in Tyler's condition, that definition won't be necessary. Basically, for those of you who don't know, you just put your left hand on the left wall and keep walking until you eventually make it out. This works because you'll never touch the same part twice. Ensuring success is inevitable, if not very time-consuming. And yes, Redditors, you can technically use either hand. However, in the United States, we always use the left one, so that the right one is free to hold our firearm, lefties notwithstanding. The last thing we want to do is split up, as there could easily be some kind of threat roaming around inside. Or death traps. For real, you already had a hidden door close on you from the very beginning. You really didn't think that there might be more of them. Fortunately for Tyler, quicksand usually isn't as bad as people think, and it's certainly possible he could escape on his own if Sam doesn't come through. The first thing we'll want to try is backpedaling closer to the ledge we fell in from in case we can reach solid ground. If that's not possible, we should try to slowly lean backward into a sort of back float position to maximize our surface area, thereby slowing the rate at which we sink in further. From there, we need to start gently moving our feet upward and let the goop fill in underneath them. Mind you, this could take quite a while, as we'll want to move in very small increments to keep from sinking back in. But at this level of screwedness, it's really our only chance. Once we're more or less flat on our backs, we can slowly reach for some of the corn accessories lining the wall, with which to gradually pull ourselves to safety. And there you have it. No collie dogs required. Ultimately, Sam is able to find the symbol on the door pointing to an underground release lever, and it's a good thing too. By the looks of it, Tyler totally panicked and started flailing uncontrollably, which would certainly explain how he sank almost completely out of sight in like 30 seconds. In any case, it seems Tyler's little brush with death was actually a blessing in disguise, as he seems to have dredged up some kind of maze map on his way out. Sure enough, this quickly leads them to the other side, where they find their next puzzle hidden inside a shipping container. Looks like some kind of elaborate elaborate computer system. Probably why they left us with not just one, but two computer geeks from the very beginning. Too bad the only one left is currently curled up in the fetal position God knows how many miles away. Absent professional help, the two smooth brains are able to get through the first couple stages using the bullets and the switch card. I guess it's a good thing we didn't choose violence along the way. However, it seems they're missing the requisite item to complete the next phase. Any guesses as to what that might be?
Knife. It's the only thing we haven't used and don't have.
Oh, no Although, you also don't have the lantern or the flask either. Just saying. We'll want to grab everything we can when we go back. What, you didn't think this was going to end without Sam having to run all the way back to the others by herself, did you? Yeah, sit tight, Tyler. We'll see you in 2 days. Nah, I'm sure she can move a little bit faster minus the dead weight, and provided she counted their paces and maintained a clear sense of direction, she could even bypass the maze altogether. As long as she knew which grid square it started in, this would give her at least some idea of where the tree might be relative to her position. Although, it would only work if we actually took the time to measure out the width of each individual grid square. If we're lucky, the route from the final scarecrow leading to the shipping container backtracked quite a ways towards the tree. Otherwise, we might wind up running a marathon to get there and back before Tyler gives up the ghost. Mind you, neither of them have had literally anything to drink since they left the others the night before. Piece of cake, right? Well, however she does it, Sam finds her way back almost immediately, and by the looks of it, just in time for dinner.
No sound.
Well, at least we know Ryan's still kicking. More importantly, it seems Ethan's body is still wearing the combat knife from his run-in with Cameron, and you gotta believe Sam knows just what to do with it. We can't go strolling into the campsite like we own the place. Only a complete and utter moron would do something like that. After all, judging by the choice of cuisine, this is clearly where the green dude calls home. Instead, we need to follow Ryan's lead and camouflage ourselves so we can stake the place out without being spotted. Ideally, we'll want to wait until after Ryan springs his attack to go for the steal. Otherwise, there's no telling when he might show up, and he might even be using this overtly conspicuous bonfire to lure in potential prey. I would also circle around to the opposite side where we'd be closer to those two piles of junk beside Ethan. Not only are they slightly farther from the light, but assuming we can find a knife in one of them, it'll be much easier to swipe, especially since it turns out Schoolboy hasn't quite checked out yet.
Please don't let us die.
Strange he would stab the mortally wounded person who hasn't moved for over a day and not the relatively healthy woman crouched right next to him. Not to mention the fact that he was able to get within an arm's reach without her even noticing. Oh well, every good manhunt needs bait, and it looks like we're it right now. Ryan needs to work on his aim, or get closer. Shooting is generally the most precise when the muzzle is placed directly against the intended target. A little pro tip for all you armchair operators out there. Luckily for Sam, it keeps the creep distracted long enough for her to grab the knife and make her escape. Only, she didn't bother grabbing any of the other items. Jesus Christ, do you really want to risk having to make another trip out here? In fact, we should have grabbed as many as we could possibly carry. I mean, as far as we know, you have to arrange 12 lanterns in the shape of a snowman to trigger the next event. As for Ryan, looks like he finally gets what he wanted. Well, almost. After a mostly one-sided bout of CQC, the stalker realizes he's been beat and retreats into the corn. And you know Ryan has to throw caution to the wind and go right in after him like a total dumbass.
It's time to die.
Bruh, how did you not see that coming? Dude's gillied up like Macmillan. Why on earth would he crouch down out in the open like that unless he wanted you to go after him? That said, chasing him at all would be a complete waste of time given the near limitless number of hiding spots at his disposal. Instead, we should have started tossing burning planks into the field in hopes we can either smoke him out or finish him off or burn him alive. The clearing he made to set up shop seems large enough for us to avoid smoke inhalation, and as long as we start a fire in every direction, he won't be able to circle back on us without setting himself ablaze. Getting back to the computer, Sam teleports in with a knife and rouses Tyler for the end game. However, even with the added item, the outcome is nowhere near what they were hoping for.
No, they're f***ing with
us. It's just a game to them.
Yeah, dude, we've known that for a while now. No sense in throwing in the towel just because the computer didn't immediately start spewing confetti. I mean, did you really expect a shipping container would just fly you back to your house? Since the light is red, it could mean we didn't complete all the steps in the correct order. Or maybe there's still something we need to incorporate somehow. You know, like the lantern or the canteen, or maybe the matches. At least look around for a minute to make sure we aren't missing something before you discount this thing completely. No, Sam's right. Better to just immediately kill it with fire instead of spending more than 2 seconds thinking about it. I'm sure the organizers that swooped us up out of our lives and dropped us in an agrarian hellscape won't have any problems with us breaking their stuff. In fact, they'll probably reward us for it. Yep, nothing to do now but sit down with our backs to the unknown and wait for the fire department to arrive. Although, I can't help but feel like we're forgetting something.
Think about your little girl. She needs you. She needs her.
Looks to me like she needs a new daddy. This one has a few too many holes in him. Not much I can recommend here besides running your ass off, but even then, dude's got that super serum coursing through his veins. No matter what, he's gonna catch up almost immediately. Right now's when you realize you should have taken the time to browse the junk piles when you had the chance. Having an extra knife or pistol squirreled away would be really nice right now, especially once he's got us flat on our back, jamming a knife into our chest, Saving Private Ryan style. Unfortunately for the big bad, there's one last item we haven't used up yet. That was a pretty clutch move, except now she has to deal with the smell of burnt popcorn. Still, aside from maybe starting a few spot fires and trying to lose him in the chaos, this was pretty much her only option. She's just lucky the dude spritzes up with kerosene for cologne. Though the final boss is slow roasting beside her, Sam's victory is short-lived, as she almost immediately keels over from blood loss. Just as she's about to clock out for good, a team of shady goons in gas masks emerges from the corn and comes to her aid. Guess we get to see what Phase 2 is all about. In the end, Sam was able to meet the conditions to end this portion of the experiment, but with any and all survivors still held captive by whoever's running the show, this is hardly the W she was hoping for. Fact is, there's no way an organization like this is ever gonna let any of them live to tell the tale. Meaning, simply walking out of the field without participating would have almost certainly resulted in a 9mm aneurysm. For this reason, Escape the Field remains unbeaten. Moral of the story, never turn your back on the corn.